Alright, everybody. Today, we're going to be talking about Days Gone. I want to start this with a very small round of applause for Sony. About that many. This is the first game in a while that has been still more mainstream on how it runs its mission levels, but still just different enough to take a risk. And it's not an indie game either. It was a game pushed by a big studio. And while I think the base mechanics of it are real good, there's a few things I don't love too much. There's some other things I love more than others. So let's dig into it. Now, normally I keep a little legal pad on my side of my desk because I'm old. I don't remember everything I should when I want to talk about these game reviews. And my ADD ADHD brain just goes waka 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 off screen and into some other tangent. This time I actually had to write down a lot of stuff because there's more than just the base game at play here. It's what it is. PlayStation is known for making some rather unremarkably new choices, but still making profound storylines. I can see where the crafting system kind of came from in terms of stuff like The Last of Us. I can see that they borrowed their mission sentiments from stuff like Far Cry. It's very hard not to borrow from other games at this point in history. I mean, we have so many different game studios crapping out games left and right. It's hard to get a new idea. And like repairing the bike, that's a relatively new idea. I mean, you've got other games like I played Pacific Drive recently. You got to repair that shit on the roll, otherwise you're stuck. I think they handled that pretty well. It was kind of a MacGuffin of, yeah, find some scrap, repair your bike. It just became the whole basis of it is, oh, you took a jump too hard, better repair that. Drop because of a clothesline trap or a sniper, go repair that. But I like that they added it because it added the urgency to keeping your bike in good maintenance and repair. It wasn't some other game where it's like, oh, you banged your bike up? Well, good thing you made it to one of our bases. We'll fix that up for you. Absolutely not. This is the post-apocalypse. People can be greedy for every penny they can get their hands on. The other thing in greed that gets me is fuel scarcity, where every single one of these camp directors in charge of motorbikes you talk to has this issue where they're like, yeah, fuel's getting real hard to come by, man. You better get it while you can. Oh, your bike's a real guzzler. Get you your fuel. There's no scarcity. The fuel respawns everywhere around the map, and for a while I actually fell into this trap where fast traveling cost so much from Iron Mike's all the way to Tuck's place that I would stop in at Camp Cope, and I fell for it. Instead of going like the 30 feet to the Nero site, I would just refill on gas while I was there and just fast travel to get where I needed to go. I didn't enjoy that. I gotta say, I don't know why, but the gunplay in this game doesn't totally disgust me. And I know every big Call of Duty aficionado is going to be smashing their fists thinking about that. It's not the same. It's not this gun. They didn't call it by its real world accurate name. I don't care. Alright, look. I spent most of my game playing with the MWS, as this game calls it, but it's an AUG. It's an AUG AM3. It's a good firearm. It's a bullpup. I'm not all for bullpups, but if I had to get one, it'd probably be that. They had stuff in there like the Caltech KSG under, I forgot what name it was, the Roadstop or whatever. It works. It wasn't just zombie apocalypse, afterlife, crappy make-it-yourself weapons like the nailed baseball bat or the 2x4 with a saw blade. They actually had somewhat reasonable designs, and the guns that they had weren't uncommon. I mean, the Iwi Pup was a Galil, and that was the gun that I kind of ended the game on. I can't think of too many people owning a full auto Galil anywhere in America. I mean, if there was ever a state, I would consider Oregon to be kind of like Montana, the Dakotas, or even Wisconsin. The people here are reasonably armed with all sorts of fun, magical things. I also kind of like the fact that they used a real world application. This is all hearsay. I've never seen nor done this myself. That certain pitches of oil filters will fit on guns. Theoretically, that could work. And I like the fact that it's not like an end-all solution like, oh, you've got an oil filter on there, it's going to last you forever. No, reasonably speaking, it's only going to last you a few shots. And the game makes the most of that. Oh, good lord. As far as how they push the storylines in the games, I can't be too impressed. You can't just hyper-focus on one storyline and crack it through. It does come naturally, piece by piece, bit by bit. But some of the things just seem like unreasonably large risks, especially given that it's the apocalypse and everyone's trying to look out for saving their own ass cheeks. And then they get Deacon St. John, and they're like, hey, I don't want to go in there and risk my buns, but you look like the kind of guy who would do it. And it's not even like they're making you do it for like a ridiculously good reward. Like, hey man, I've got this rifle. You could totally have it if you come back alive. No, it's just like, hey buddy, you made it back. Here's 2,000 camp credit. We trust you a little more. It's insulting sometimes how little those rewards can be for for anything. I mean, I feel like if you're risking your ass for these people on a regular basis, the trust level would go up a lot higher, a lot faster. I also have just two more really big gripes. One of them is such a minor gripe that I shouldn't have listed as a big gripe, but the acquiring stuff issue. Now, I would understand with the size of the hordes, it would be annoying as shit if you had to bend down and cut the ear off of each and every one of them. But at the same time, we have to kill almost as many people as we do zombies in this game. Why is it that I have to physically search every body that I come up to get a rag, some disinfectant, etc.? But then I can walk past a pile of zombies and it's like, you collected 23 ears. It's one of those weird gripes. Like, I feel like the item system should be walk by and acquire. Because if you're running from a horde and they have these items scattered around horde areas, you're not really going to be able to collect those that easily. It's going to be a bit of a challenge. You're going to risk your life to do it if you don't come prepared. And then beyond that, if you kill out a whole camp of bandits, let me just walk through and auto-collect. I'm not in any danger. Like, if I'm in danger and I have to make a reach above me kind of thing to get something, maybe I can get that, but I don't know. Something about it didn't feel right. My other big gripe, and this one's a plague of gaming, all these zombie types already exist in the world at large. They have always existed in the world at large, but we have to discover them for them to exist in the world at large. And they can appear anywhere from the end of the game all the way to the starting area. As long as we've discovered that they exist, they totally exist. And I'm going to go back and quote the ancient gaming Bible itself back to the PS3 era. Dead Island. Dead Island was the first game to plague us with this. If you were to go off the beaten path in Dead Island, odds of you finding any special ones aside from a thug in the early game were zero. Statistically, you could not find suiciders, you could not find cutters, sprinters, nothing like that. Rams, unheard of. the only thing you would find is the occasional thug, and even then, that was pretty rare. If you managed to ignore the entire game before the lifeguard house, you ain't seen them. If you manage to go to the lifeguard house and find the thugs in Dead Island, they'll be all over the island. But you still won't find any of the other special ones because you didn't do the mission that involves them. Days Gone is the only other zombie game I've really played aside from Dying Light, and they are all plagued by the same issue. You could go anywhere you want in this in-game world, but the second you have the official cutscene introduction for a zombie, i.e. the Big Jim, the Karen, the Ragers, hell, even the Reacher, Wolverine. The second you find those things in the world, they're everywhere. And it's not like they're super duper common, like they just pop up in a crowd. You'll go somewhere, like an old Nero checkpoint, it's just like, oh yeah, I can go get some stuff from here. Oh, there's a Big Jim here. I'll just go to the next one. Because it's not worth wasting your bullets on the specialty type ones. It's just not. I don't get it. I hate that games have to do this where they, progress lock you behind learning that a zombie exists. Just fill the world with the zombies you want to exist and use them as gatekeepers. If a Screecher's too hard to get past, clearly you need some better weaponry. Big Jim got you down? Clearly you need better weaponry. As far as the storyline goes, I won't lie, they did a pretty good job at how the actual story goes. Like, if we're excluding how main missions felt like side missions and side missions felt like less than side missions, if we really look at the narrative that they're pushing at the top, if you actually did all the storylines, things came out really happy in the end, at least as happy as they could. I personally had a good time with the story. It felt organic. There was obviously the fetch quests, the go do it quests, the get rid of quests, but every game's going to have those. Every game's going to have side objectives. If they put you on just a linear track story, it's a rail shooter. I'll die on that hill. I like games that give me freedom. This one gave me a lot of freedom with a lot of missions tacked to that freedom, and missions paid out in the end. It wasn't stupendous every step of the way, but at the same time, it felt good. I felt compelled to actually do the missions in this game. And as far as the missions are concerned, I have a buddy who had told me that the final mission isn't over until O'Brien calls me. So if you're watching this, Jonesy, what's up, bud? I stayed in the game well after the end credits rolled just because I knew that there was supposed to be a little bit more. I wasn't exactly sure how bit more. And I was told just don't stop playing until O'Brien calls. I ended up having to look up how long it takes O'Brien to call, and the game, like every game guide just kind of said, he'll call you eventually. Just finish up the other storylines. He'll get to you. Take a nap. So during my last video, you'll see me abusing the sleep system more than I've let Deacon sleep the entire time he's been in Oregon. They definitely set up for a really good Part 2/DLC. Upon further investigation of that, I also found out Part 2/DLC was canceled indefinitely. Couldn't imagine why, seeing as how this game came out April, and everyone got real sick come September, October, November of the exact same year. That was just ill timing at its finest, or the world's greatest marketing stunt we've ever seen. I would give this game a solid 10 for 10 recommendation. I wouldn't buy it at full price, but that's me. I'm cheap. It's definitely worth a play, though. I mean, it's a good time sucker. It's got the most hours of recorded time that I've played in any game recently, and it was all on screen. I had no reason to off-screen grind. Yeah. Hopefully I'll be able to put more content up soon, and I will see you guys in the future.